What up? My name is Adrian from Rabona TV, and this will be our video on the winners and losers of the 2016-2017 season. I didn't do a team of the year in this video, as in the best players in each position from all across Europe, but if there's an interest in that, I can definitely throw one together for the weekend, as of course, nothing can get in the way of our Friday transfer videos. Now, if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe, as we do 2 to 3 videos a week on player bios, general stats, and news videos, transfers, and random ones like this. But all my longtime subscribers are probably saying, shut up, Adrian. You're so annoying, get on with it. So let's do just that. Now, I should say before we get started that you gotta keep in mind that these awards are not gospel. They're just my opinion. And I'm doing this just to incite conversation and to hear from you who you think should have won each award. Cool? Grab a drink if you're of legal age. Of course. And let's get to it. The first award that we will be giving out today is for the most improved team. Basically, any team that started the season off horribly, was bottom of the table, were favorites to get relegated, and then at the end of the season, or midway through the season, improved so much that they finished at a okay or respectable place. Now, it should be noted that we're only looking at this season, so any teams that did poorly last season but did really well this season will be excluded. And with that being said, the most improved team this season, without question, has got to be Werder Bremen. Why? Tell them why, Adrian. Werder started their season off horribly with a 6-0 loss to Bayern Munich and continued that bad run for their first 4 matches. In fact, their terrible form would continue all the way until match day 20 on February 11th. Of those first 20 matches of the season, they won 4, drew 4, and lost 12. And we're sitting in 18th place in the table, aka dead last, with less than half of the season remaining. But from match day 21 to 31, Werder Bremen won 9 matches and had 2 draws, no losses, which shot them up to 6th place and within a shot of making it into Europe. Hell, they could have even passed Borussia Dortmund. However, they ended the season with an anticlimax, losing all 3 of their last matches. So they ended up in 8th place, which is still a remarkable turnaround for a team that looked as hopeless as Roberto Carlos's right foot. So congrats to Werder Bremen. I know you guys are watching. Don't worry, your award will be in the mail. No, there won't. There is no award. Next up, let's look at the surprise team of the season, aka a team that overachieved, or just went beyond anyone's expectations. Now, you could give it to RB Leipzig, who went from promotion to 2nd place in what was a very competitive Bundesliga season. Or what about Nice or Freiburg? Again, in the Bundesliga. Adrian, tell them who takes it. The Surprise Team of the Season award goes to AS Monaco. Sure, they won 1 less cup than PSG, but they also ended PSG's dominion over the league in a stylish fashion, as they scored the 2nd highest number of league goals in Europe's top 5 leagues. Considering they finished 31 points behind PSG in the 2015-16 season, the fact that their team of young, attack-minded players were able to not only win the league, but also push as far as the Champions League semi-finals, losing only to Juventus, I think it's fair to say that nobody expected Monaco to be as strong as they were this year, winning the league comfortably by 8 points. From the most surprising team of the season to the most underachieving. Now, I'm only nominating 2 teams for this one, and they're pretty big boys in Barcelona and Bayern Munich. I thought of including Arsenal given that they finished outside of 4th this season, and it was one of their worst seasons in 22 years, but then they salvaged it sort of by getting the FA Cup, and to be honest, is it really a surprise that they finished outside of 4th, considering the quality in the Premier League now at the top? So their underachieving is not much in comparison to these 2 powerhouses. And with that being said, let's break it down. Bayern Munich had a terrible time, cups-wise at least. In the DFB Pokal, they lost out against rivals Borussia Dortmund. In the Champions League, offside goals or not, they really didn't look up to snuff against Real Madrid. They led Europe's top 5 leagues for fewest goals conceded, possession, and shots taken per match. Clearly a dominant team and deserving of the Bundesliga, but you feel like they should be winning more than just 1 cup. Barcelona, on the other hand, has arguably the most skilled attacking trio in Europe. After their incredible, yet in some eyes incredibly controversial, comeback against PSG in the Champions League, they failed to register a single goal against Juventus. And considering Monaco scored against them and Real Madrid scored against them 4 times, doesn't look good. They then faltered in La Liga and couldn't capitalize on any of the chances that Real Madrid handed them to catch up, only coming home with a Copa del Rey and an anticlimactic final against Alaves. So it's a close call considering they won the same amount of silverware. But for me, It's much harder to win a league over 38 matches than it is to win a league cup. So the Rabona award for the most underachieving team this season has to go to Barcelona for me. I'm sorry, Barcelona fans, but this is almost a compliment in a very strange way. Given how good your team is and the success they've had in the past, the bar set pretty high, and unfortunately this last season it just wasn't met. So we've seen the most improved team of the season, the surprise package of the season, and the most underachieving team of the season. So it's gotta be time for the team of the year. And like I said, not team of the year as in individuals that are the best in each position, but an actual club. Namely one that asserted their dominance over their country and even Europe if they could pull it off. So it comes down to two for me: Juventus and of course Real Madrid. Juventus, who won a Scudetto for the 6th year running, and a Coppa Italia, and made it to the final of the Champions League. While on the other hand, we have Real Madrid, who won La Liga, and faced Juventus in the final of the Champions League, and ended up winning it. So for me, it's a no-brainer, and I don't think you can really argue with it. It's gotta be Real Madrid. All year, we were waiting on Real Madrid to go on a losing streak after they had managed to set the record for the most consecutive wins, but they just didn't do it. In January, they faltered by having a draw and then 2 losses in a row, and it looked like the wheels might have been coming off for Zidane and the rest of Real Madrid, but they didn't. They closed out La Liga as champions, holding off Barcelona by 3 points, and they went into the Champions League final against the Champions League sweethearts and a team that I had originally thought would win it, and arguably the best defense in the world, and they crushed them 4-1. Their 3rd title in 4 seasons and the first team ever to win back-to-back Champions League titles. But who do you think the best team of the year was? So the team awards are finished and it's time for the individual player awards. First up, the unsung hero of the season, and then we'll get to the player of the season. Now, the unsung hero of the season was arguably the most difficult one for me to finalize. But I narrowed it down to Marcelo, Luka Modric, Edinson Cavani, and Emil Forsberg. Forsberg is definitely the most unknown, but he actually led the top 5 leagues in Europe with the most assists with 25, helping RB Leipzig get to 2nd place in the Bundesliga. Edinson Cavani had the task of filling a Zlatan Ibrahimovic-shaped hole in the PSG attack. Marcelo, who rapidly emerged as perhaps the best left back in the world when he helped destroy Bayern Munich. And then there's Luka Modric, the king of the intangibles, the things that you don't see on a score sheet. We're talking about goals and assists. I think he only had 2 or 3 of each this season. Yet for me is still probably the best central midfielder in the world right now. Yet he's constantly overshadowed by other central midfielders. So, who do we give it to? I gotta give this one to Cavani. You never really hear people talk about this guy, and yet he managed to score 35 goals in 35 Liga appearances, helped PSG to a cup double in which he scored 6 goals in 5 matches across the 2 competitions, and went 8 for 8 in the Champions League. Considering how everyone thought life wouldn't go on without Zlatan, Cavani truly delivered, scoring 1 less goal than Zlatan managed the year prior. And yet, people still don't want to give it up to him, so we'll give it up to him. And finally, the Player of the Season award. Now, my nominees for this one are Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and Gigi Buffon. Let's talk Buffon first, because I find this one might even be, and I'm guilty of this too, a bit of a sentimental vote. Players like Casillas and Griezmann, why'd I say that so weird? Antoine Griezmann have said that he deserves to win the Ballon d'Or, or the FIFA World Player of the Year, or Male of the Year, whatever the hell FIFA calls it now these days. Messi, well, he had yet another year where he scored over 50 goals and won the Golden Boot and had some tax evasion problems. Well, ignore that last one. Seems like everyone in Spain has that. And he did help his team win another trophy, albeit the Copa del Rey. However, and this is what shades it for me, when his team really needed him to just grab them by the ears and drag them over the finish line, he just didn't seem to be there for them. He didn't really look like he could be bothered at times this season. I'm talking about the first leg of the PSG clashes, and both legs against Juventus. So with that said, the Player of the Year has to be Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, people are gonna disagree with me on this one, I'm sure of it. But here's my reasoning. We saw a different Cristiano Ronaldo this season, and I'm not just talking about where he was playing on the pitch, but a Ronaldo that was willing to take the time on the bench in order to save himself for the end of the season when it really mattered, and when his team would need him most. This is a huge change in Cristiano's attitude and, quite frankly, the reputation that he has gained over the years of being an arrogant, selfish player. It seems like he's realized now that team accolades come before personal accolades, But more importantly, when you're a huge contributor to your team winning things, then you win things. So when his team needed him when the going got tough towards the end of the season, he stepped up. In his last 10 matches, he scored 16 goals, breaking record after record in every competition, all the while adapting his playing style to something completely different. He went from a player that could beat anyone on a given day with his sheer physicality to a predatory striker almost, that just needs a single touch in the box or outside of it to score a goal. He's won 9 trophies in just 372 days for both club and personal accolades. And he has a shot at winning another one with Portugal this summer in the Confederations Cup. Granted, I realize that the Confederations Cup is basically the international equivalent of the Club World Cup. But still, if he pulls it off, I think that will cement him as the World Player of the Year once again, and will just further my belief that I'm doing the right thing by awarding him the Rabona Award for the Player of the Year. Congrats to CR7. And with that just about wraps up the Rabona Awards for this season. Congrats to all the winners. I know that you guys have been waiting for this day for many weeks now, and your awards are in the mail. No, they're not. Again, let me know if you want me to do a Team of the Year this weekend. I am happy to do it if there's an interest in that. Thanks again for all your love and support lately, guys. Be sure to drop a comment in the comment section so I can see what your picks were. My name is Adrian. This is Rabona TV, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!